two, one. You're listening to Business Podcasting Made Easy, the TV talk show formula where you get a roadmap to elevate your authority, expand your visibility with a TV talk show that you're proud of. And you're listening on the IBGR network. This is episode 36, our last in this 4-part series today. Center Stage, Achieving Perfect Alignment in Camera Framing. Welcome to the show. I'm Donna Cundy, co-founder of the IBGR network, global radio authority and podcast expert and producer of over 14,000 podcasts.
And I'm Declan Oseguera, TV producer and international TV talk show host. And my TV talk show formula has impacted over 100,000 lives globally and gives business owners and entrepreneurs a simple way to be seen and heard with their own purpose-driven message. And we're your hosts for this 13-week journey. Remember, you can easily follow the plan at tvtalkshowformula.com. And if you want direct live support from us for your TV talk show, then contact us today at tvtalkshowformula.info.
Perfect. And today's quote to lead us into this episode is from our former, would you say former president, United States President Barack Obama.
Exactly.
And he said that video is a medium that empowers individuals to share their stories, amplify their voices, and make a difference in the world. That is like so us too, right? All of that.
Yeah.
Sharing stories, amplifying voices, and make a difference in the world. And that's why we're doing
it. He wrote it for us, yes.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Exactly.
Why is this one important, Declan?
So the angle that we're taking with this is that to become a person worth watching, you want to remove the unconscious distractions caused by poor camera framing.
Yeah.
And I mentioned distractions in the previous episode about lighting and audio, but this absolutely will play here as well. So
can I tell you one of the videos I did with Ben? I was visiting my daughter and staying at my mom's house, and she's like, "Oh, here, take this little desk." And so half of the frame is cut off by the top of the desk. It was one of those kind of desks, and I'm in a t-shirt, and I'm going back, and the audio is perfect, but you can see like what not to do on that video. Totally. I didn't even realize at the time aesthetics are important.
Yeah, and it's actually really easy for doing when you're stationary as you're likely to be in the format that we're showing you here. And again, if you haven't seen the videos of these episodes, you can go to the IBGR Network YouTube channel and actually see.
Last season was the blooper season.
Yeah.
The video bloopers.
Very simple, because we're not doing crazy camera movements, right? It's stationary camera. So the first thing I want to share with you is called the 2-finger rule. Right. So basically we're talking, there's a concept called head space. So the space between the top of your head when you're on camera, right? So you got to be on camera for this to make sense. But the space between the top of your head and the top of the frame that space is called your head space. And there's an amount that you want to have there in general, which would constitute about 2 fingers or so. So if you put 2 fingers at the top of your head, you should have pretty much filled the gap between the top of your head. Donna, you guys who are just listening, Donna and I have our hands on our heads and we're putting fingers on. You got to see this now.
We're showing you. You have to see it.
Can't you see what we're doing? So 2-finger rule. So when you're doing your setup, right? When you're setting up your studio, you literally are going to pick the chair that you're going to use, the desk or the countertop, whatever it is that you're going to use, that your camera will be sitting on, and then practice this to get the height of your camera correct, so that you have at least not too much more than the 2-finger width above your head.
Mm-hmm.
This
also,
is really
like
important.
Where your eyes go, because that's another thing. Like, am I looking at, because we tested that out too, because we're following. We're going to talk about segmenting later and scripting, but we're following along so we can be in 2 different places and stay together. And you don't want to look down, you don't want to look up.
Yeah. So these are other elements having to do with cameras. So the height of your camera, meaning how elevated off of the surface that you're working from, that your camera is situated, really matters. So you in general want to create it's really almost an illusion, quite frankly, of your eye level, your eyeballs want to seem like they're at about the same level as your camera position.
Mm-hmm.
So in my case, I'm not ashamed to say this. I've done all kinds of crazy things. I have a couple of boxes underneath my computer to get it to the height that I need it to. I know, Donna, you have a lovely piece of something that you bought that allows you to change the height of your. It's
Yeah.
like a
Yeah,
little
it's a
platformy,
yeah, like a little elevator.
like a little elevator. Yeah,
I don't know what it's called, but you can get it.
I don't either. But so you could buy things for this, right? To place your computer on, that can attach to your desk.
Hmm.
Or you can use boxes. Sometimes, you use what you need to use. I've used all kinds of crazy things to get a camera to the right height.
And also, I'm using a little camera. I'm using Logitech. Shout out to them. I'm not getting any kind of a money back from it, but I'm just using
So,
it, and it's sitting on top of my computer right
yeah,
now. And I've had it sometimes because you can clip it to different places. So I've had it
right.
sometimes where I would clip it higher, and so as I'm sitting here outside, I don't have my little computer elevator. I'm just
Oh,
sitting in a
right.
short chair, and I've got the camera
So
on
you had
top
to
of.
recreate your studio setup
Mm-hmm. Yep.
in advance, right? But you know the rules now, so you were able
I
to do it pretty
know.
quickly.
I feel so professional.
Donna gets a gold star. Yes. And another important thing, Donna mentioned, you don't want to appear like you're looking down at your guest or your audience. And so this is why the eye level height matching your camera lens to your eyeballs is really important, because if you are looking down towards your camera, it will come across on the other side like you're looking down at your
Yeah.
audience. It's a basically like an unwanted subconscious message. And humans are very susceptible to these cues, right? Body language, right? These
Hmm.
visual cues. They're not thinking about it, but it's processing in their mind. Oh, this guy's looking down at me. Why?
Something's off, or like,
Something's
just a
off, right?
little off center, just a little off.
Right.
If you can't see me on the podcast, go to the video. I just went a little off center.
Right. Now it's like, now it's distracting, and my mind has to think about what's weird. Oh, she's over there. Why is she over there? Right. Is something going to happen in that new space you created?
Hmm.
It'll make sense if you watch the video. Excuse me. So that takes us to the positioning of your body. You want to be in the middle of your screen, so you have a little bit of space on either side of you, approximately equal amounts of space, right? So your body wants to be in the middle of the camera framing. So these are really the most basic things you need to know about framing. Make sure that you're positioned in the middle of your screen. You have 2 fingers above the headspace,
Yep.
and that your eye position is approximately equal with your camera. And it will remove, pretty much all the distractions that someone might have unknowingly about how they're perceiving you. These same rules you're going to teach your guests. It's really important, because you now know more. You are now the expert. You know these things, and most guests don't.
Yep.
So it's your job as the host of your show to educate your guests to make sure that they're framed properly, that their lighting is as good as possible, and that their audio is as good as possible. And we're going to go more into this stuff as we teach you about how to invite guests. And
Yeah, and we do have a couple of minutes on here,
yeah,
Declan. If we could just dive into, the world has opened up again. You and I, like, we're in different countries, so we're on Zoom. If I were in the same room as the person I was interviewing, where
yeah,
would my eyes be? Would I look at them? Would I look at, how would I set up an in-person studio? We have several
yeah.
minutes, so let's go there.
Yeah. So if it was like a two-person, like a talk show on TV that you on like Ellen or something like this, right? Or any late night show that one person's behind the desk, someone's sitting on a couch, you'll notice they're usually at an angle, right?
Hmm.
They're not they're not directly next to each other, but they're positioned at an angle towards the camera. So it's actually, well, I'm using my hands, you guys can't see me, but you would position yourself to be at an angle, and you would alternate as the guest, as the host. You would be alternating between speaking to your host, and also turning towards the camera that would be positioned usually in front of you. In a television talk show, there's at least three cameras and probably a roving cameraman as well.
Mm.
So, but if there was just one stationary camera, you would be alternating between looking into the camera, which is your audience, and
Mm-hmm.
looking at your guest over here. So it's a different setup. But if you happen to be doing this, if you are going to set yourself up with an in-person show, then you're going to do this at an angle. And it's very easy just to pick any show, any talk show that you would see on cable or TV, and they're all set up basically the same way. This
Yeah.
brings
So
up a very good point, though.
go
Let
ahead.
me just squeeze this in.
Yeah.
When you're doing like what we're doing, Donna and I are never actually looking at each other. I can see her head over here to the side of me on the Zoom window,
Mm-hmm.
but we are not looking at each other. And for those of you who may watch the video, I am now going to look at Donna and continue talking. So when I start to look at her over here, I can see her directly, but
I'm
now
looking at you now too.
it looks like I'm not looking at you, the viewer, right? And we don't
Yeah.
want that. So the camera is your guest and it's your audience. So you always want to create this connection with the people that you're actually engaging with. And we're going to
Yeah.
talk about that actually
I'm
in the
really glad you brought
next
that up
video.
because and when you do this, we've asked you to make sure you do this every time with your guests. We didn't ask you to record this. You might want to do a little recording on where your eyes are. The first time that I did a video where it mattered that I was trying to talk to the audience because I was doing an invitation to an event that I did, my eyes were all over the place. I had to make sure that the camera was where I needed my eyes to be so that I could make that connection. So
Yeah,
it's worth it, I think, to do some practice test runs.
100%. Yeah. And even when our very first episode here, I didn't have the two boxes. I think I only had one. And I watched the recording and I could see that I was doing exactly what I just said not to do. It looked like I was looking down, and it was very, it's like a 2 inches difference.
Hmm.
Uh, and it made all the difference to add the other box so that it took away that distraction, right? So
Yeah.
it's a work in progress. You want to practice, you want to test, and get those things right, so you're not thinking about them anymore, and you're able to just to focus on what you're talking about, and your guest.
Yep. And if you want another set of eyes, then direct live support from us, you can get that from tvtalkshowformula.info. Always happy to do that. tvtalkshowformula.info for some live direct support for your TV talk show. Follow us and subscribe at tvtalkshowformula.com to get all the episodes. This is wrapping up week 9 of 13. Launch your show, video essentials for a successful launch. We went from amateur to pro with episode 33. From one to many, episode 34, lighting and audio, episode 35, and this one, episode 36, center stage, achieving perfect alignment and camera framing. I'm Donna Cundy signing off for this week.
I'm Declan Oseguera. Thanks
Have
for
a great
listening.
week. Bye.